Setting up the filters, and we're good to go. All right. Yep. Yep. And yep. Nice. Just cleaning up the leg on this little beastie here. And right here. Oh, hey, Joe. Good morning, brother. What's going on? Fingernail test. Remember years ago when I first got into return to the hobby, and I got onto Instagram, and I posted, I can't recall what it was. And I remember I posted a reply to a modeler's story, a post, something like that. They said something about, like seam lines, and I said, oh yes, and a fingernail test is a really good thing. You should try something like that. It was something kind of kind of simple like that. And the person responded, yes, that's a good one, or toothpick, yes, that's a very good suggestion, which I use. Something. So this is again 7 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever it is now. The person I replied to, I think about this often, was oh God, what's his name? The Mackay guy, Lincoln Wright, on his Instagram post. Hey Nick, good morning. Nick, you made it through the entirety of the episode last night, Mike's show. Wow, I'm impressed. But it was a reply to Lincoln Wright, and Lincoln Wright replied, and he replied so benignly. And then I remember, I don't know, must have been like 6 months later, I figured out who Lincoln Wright was, and I'm like, oh shit. All right. Crazy. I did, and still made it to the morning show. I'm impressed. Ditto. I've been staying up late the last couple of nights trying to get my my server up and running again. Getting the content rebuilt, and I'm getting closer, but it's just like I'm running into a couple of obstacles with just things that are working and then suddenly just not. And it's like, what the hell's going on? I think I've got a drive issue or some kind of a SMB security thing or something. But in any case, so I've been spending up late nights. Last night, after the show, I started working on that. Crashed out. I went to bed wicked late. But anyway, just blithering here because I'm exhausted. Oh, no, that's kind of what it is. Anyway, what's going on, Ken? Good morning. How you feeling, brother? How's the arm doing? Anyway, but I guess my comment on Lincoln Wright was, it just kind of reminds me also of a story, about, and I've mentioned it last Thursday, I think, on expertise, that everybody thinks their opinions are right, and you just don't know who you have to sometimes listen to the experts, sometimes, like quite a bit of time, and sit there, and I think now about how foolish I must have sounded to Lincoln at the time, as a guy does not have anywhere near the same experience that Link did. Anyway, fascinating. Happy Thursday. What's going on, Richie? Or Friday Eve. That does have a better ring to it, doesn't it? Arm is getting better. That's good. And I'm assuming getting better without surgery. That is a good thing. Anyway. So yesterday was my younger daughter's last day of high school. So got one getting ready to go to college. Another 3 months. It's hard to believe it's 3 months away. Tired, it's raining, wish I stayed in bed, but my good looks don't pay the bills. Richie, you should go on, you should do something like what I do. I bet your good looks would pay for themselves. I might kick in like 30, 40 cents. Just DIY. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hold it. And by DIY, that means you're doing it with your own expertise without the expertise of, say, an orthopedic surgeon or some other medical expert, correct? Can I do it again? Please, please. Oh, and I got to ask a really crazy question here, Nick. Nick, so when you take down deer, I'm assuming you're part of the you actually, I'm assuming you prepare the venison, right? You cut it up and do the venison thing, or do you turn that over to somebody else? Something strikes me by your comment here that you're like, I got my butcher knives ready to go. If you use dental floss for a suture material, make sure it's not mint. Why not? Then your suture smells good. Come on, for real? Everybody knows that. Ray. What's going on, Ray? Everyone says I should stream. I think you should give it a try and see what happens. No harm, no foul. Dude, I've been doing this for, what, 5.5 years? Over 5 years. Nick, yes, it comes to that. I would be honored. Keep that up and you're getting cinnamon. Hey, as long as the wound smells good, it stings like a bitch. Oh man, I got to tell you guys just real quickly. I'm grateful for the ability for us to laugh like we do. My wife and I have recently done a few things that have actually helped our family out financially, which has taken a little bit of a burden off mentally. Though between, each of our jobs, just once again, it's not the work, it's always leadership. Always leadership. Between, each of us just kind of like pulling our hair out, and I don't have much left to pull. And at the same time, just the insanity. I mean, like the day-to-day insanity of what's going on in the world. Like, boy, I gotta tell you, someday, the historians, the future historians, they're gonna have a field day with this time. Thanks, Ken. Oh, I see. And Nick, you didn't respond to my question, did you? I remember seeing a response. No. You're willing to do it, but you didn't say whether or not you got the expertise to do it. I did. You did respond? When did you respond? I see the yo. I don't see no response. Anyway, crazy. Craziness. All right, we're almost there. I may actually rename the station. I actually rename it to The Sanding Show. I'll respond again. Okay, good. I love responses. Let's respond again. And I appreciate it. I appreciate your flexibility here, Nick. I really do. You don't know what that means to me. There we go. A little bit of a dot there. Nothing that can't get taken out with a little bit of primer or surfacer. So, leg is done. All nice and smooth, including the roundy bit there. Oops, nope, did miss one spot. This is why you always look multiple times. Season 1, The Sanding. I'll respond again. Can you see it this time? No. Honestly, I don't see. I'm serious. I'm not seeing anything. I've got, you're saying I'll respond again. Joe saying Season 1, The Sanding, which is awesome. I like that. Can you see it this time? No. New guy who did semi-hemorrhoid surgery with dental floss. Yes, I'm qualified. Now I see it. Qualified. Tools and all. Use it as a ligature until the end rotted off. Oof, really? Was this like a military thing? Like they were doing something in the field that needed to get done and that's what they had? That was the short answer. No. I appreciate the short answer. Your long answer, I just checked. It did not come through. Weird. Maybe it sounded too violent. I have no idea. I don't think I missed it. I did go scrolling through, but... Okay. So here we go. Nice and clean. So the only thing I didn't do is I didn't do this top part. Obviously, because I'm going to cut this in order to slide it into the hip section. I'm going to take this off. Let's glue another section together, and then we're going to start tackling the sanding on this. Anyway, happy Thursday, everybody. How's everybody doing? He was an inmate and state wouldn't approve surgery. No shit. Do you have to see all messages selected? I do. Yeah, that's the one thing I always do, all messages. Yep. Anyone? Again, maybe something happened, Nick. But, yeah, not seeing it. So, Ken, once again, was he a medical professional? So I'm trying to figure out something here. Oh yeah, those hoses. Yep, 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 yep. Okay, I'm good. So water shut off to the community today. City assholes. Why was water cut off? Sorry, different platform. Nice. The Doc of H Block was his nickname. So was he a doctor? Really? Wow, it's kind of groovy. No idea why I'm up. I didn't get home until 1 a.m. Ray, you're up because you love me. Hello. Do I have to spell that out for you? Hello. All right, let's get this. YouTube doesn't like me, keeps censoring me. Yeah. Why do you think that might be? Maybe you say inappropriate things? I'm kidding with you. I don't. That is kind of wild. Just repair work, I guess, but it's the city doing it, so it could be all day. Well, hey, Joe, in the end, if that means that you've got functioning and clean water, I guess it's kind of worth it. No, he wasn't a doctor, forgot what he did in the world. Interesting. Wow. But he actually did that. So and I'm guessing as an inmate, he probably didn't have access, or maybe he did have access to a computer to look up how to do that procedure. That's crazy. Wow. That is fucking nuts. Yeah, Nick, I'm sorry if it's actually that is actually happening. That would be kind of wild. And I don't mean that in a good way. You know, it's not like we're having, honestly, inappropriate conversations, right? Imagine that felt better than the hemorrhoids. Yeah. You can't imagine it did or did not. I don't know. Did he survive it? And if he did he survive it well? And if the answer to both of those is yep, well, might have hurt like a mother, but I'm sure that put all that in the past. Oh, the city does work. They can let sediment go through the lines, which on my rental home could be a disaster. Yeah. Well, usually any kind of work like that, it's always run the water afterward, right, Joe? I mean, I don't know about how water, I'm assuming it's all the same, but what do I know? This is not my expertise. But I know when we've had a lot of pipe work done over the years, including right in front of our house. Town laying down new pipes. Come on, there we go. And that always takes a toll. It's kind of whacked. There we go. Oh yeah, he was fine. Nice. But you just run water for a while, and I get it. And trust me, I've blocked up quite a bit of the filters, the water filters. Does a number on the the fridge filter. Oh yeah, he was fine. Oh yeah. There we go. Just applying a little pressure there. Let that sit there until mañana. So it's literally a part a day. That's what we're gonna get to. A part a day. So thinking about last night on Mike's live stream, Gundamonium Works. Mike mentioned that he uses StreamYard in order to do streaming across platforms. I guess he does it on Facebook and YouTube, and he was doing it on Twitch until he started getting a lot of crazy messages and bots and spam and shit. So he dropped that, and because StreamYard allows you to do up to 3 consecutive streams on three platforms. He decided, okay, I'll try Kick, and he ran into the same issue. Never heard of Kick. What's Kick? Is anybody else using it or familiar with it? Hot water tanks and toilet issues. Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, Joe. Yeah. Yep. It sounds like you're going to be cleaning out that hot water tank, right? Light said hi. Hey, Light, welcome. Together today, so I will have my modeling space back. Woohoo! That's awesome, man. Ken, how long has it been like that? Thanks for the welcome. Is it an early morning for you or a late night? It is not very early. Well, early is relative, I guess, right? It is 6:30 in the morning here in eastern Massachusetts in the United States. And what time is it for you? And where, may I ask, are you located? Light? Forever. Light. Aziz, light. Hitting this thing with the shine blade just to see if I can keep some of that angle. Excuse me. There we go. Multipass, exactly. I like waking up early, like 6 a.m. too. Yeah. I usually get up 5 o'clock-ish, though it's been getting later, like closer to 5:30. Getting some morning work done, meaning getting cats fed and lunch made for work and shit like that. And then coffee made. Gotta have the coffee. Ooh, speaking of, gotta have the coffee. And then coming on down. Last night I had a bit of an existential crisis about the show. It's like, why do I continue to do this show? I was thinking about it. It's like, why do you do this? And it really is. It's like it's part of it is it's like auto mode now. I mean, you do something for as many years as I've been doing this. It's just part of the background, I guess. But at the same time, it's like if this kind of went away, what would happen? It's like I genuinely, I a lot of thought about that. you have an outline for tonight's stream topics. Did you mean you got an existential crisis about live streaming? Yes. About doing this thing. I've been doing this. I started this on Instagram over 5 years ago. And then beginning of this year, March time, I should say, a couple months ago, I transitioned over to YouTube. But I've been live streaming for a long time. And it's daily. I do this on a daily basis. So as close to daily as you can. There are days obviously they get missed for whatever vacations or sickness or family obligation or work obligation or something like that. But I would say in the 5+ years, I've probably missed, I don't know, 60 days maybe, which in the grand scheme of things ain't a lot. But yeah, I think about why do you do this? Is it a hubris thing? If it stopped, would you be all right with it? And it's an interesting question because this is it's not a financial effort to do it, but the thought of, well, you could sleep in a little bit, that kind of thing, or do you do this because you need something out of this? And in some ways, a lot of interesting questions that just kind of popped into mind as I was drifting off to sleep last night. And I do enjoy this because I do enjoy hanging out with people in the morning. And I've said this, even on days when it feels like I just don't want to necessarily be doing this because I'm just tired, I'd rather rest. Afterward, I feel like I'm glad I did it because it always feels like it was cathartic. It's great. Maybe if YouTube was no longer for you, you could organize workshops related to what you like. Yep. It's possible. The only thing with that is it's like, I'm good at what I do. I'm a really, really good modeler. I'm not a world-class modeler. I do this primarily because it's just, as you probably may be noticing here, like, we just chat. We're friends. New friends, old friends, but we're just friends. And everybody's welcome to the table. As long as you're respectful, everybody's welcome at this table. So, Ken, what's on the agenda tonight? Honestly, dude, are you asking that? A craft circle. That's kind of like what it is. It's a daily, it started at the time of when COVID hit, because we lost all ability to talk with people in the outside world. And it's like, oh, I can't do that. I need to be able to stay in contact, and certainly with a lot of the people I've become friends with over the years, a lot of it was model related. So you've contracted cordyceps and are compelled to stream. Fight the urge, climb a tree. That's funny. Climb a tree. Yes, honest question. What? You're saying my question isn't? Which one? He's underselling himself. He is world class. He's not world class. I'm not. I've seen world class work. And I think part of world class is, honestly, it's like world class work. It's a mindset. Like I'm definitely one that just says, you know what, that's good enough. And there are people who would say, that's not good enough. I'm going to push further. Class, I mean, especially, and I hate, I'm going to say it. World class means that you're competing and you're extremely well. I just don't care about that. So, Ken, honest question is about tonight's live stream. Are you shitting me? Ken, you have to go in blind, no pre-topic knowledge. I mean, regarding tonight, and it's, again, we don't do a lot of the politics here during the day. Are you fucking kidding me, though? Anybody been paying attention to what's going on out there? You don't have to compete with anyone except yourself to be world class. Yeah, and in that case, and that's in light, 100%. I personally don't care about, and I don't compete, even though I do judging. I don't compete if I can avoid it. I'd rather put models on a table for display. And you're right. Is this model better than the last one? About the outline of the show was an honest question. Yeah. Hold on a second. I'm not even paying attention now. Ray, you're probably passed out. Go to sleep, brother. I think I tried last week. You tried last week about what? To try to get a topic? You know, so Ken, I'm going to take this a step back on the Thursday night thing. I thought about taking notes, writing down notes, and working off of that. And I generally think a lot about, through the week, what's been kind of going on and what I want to discuss. But it really is, it's like, I don't want it to be scripted. Remember, it's unleashed. It's basically whatever is just there at the moment. Now, there is some focus to it based on, there are some hot topic things that come up and that have been really prominent in my thoughts through the week. And those things come about, but it's not a formal thing. You don't get to say that, George, for us to judge you better than you say. And I appreciate it, Joe. That's very, very kind of you to say. I'm not, like I said, I will never say to myself, I'm not a good modeler. It's like, no, and I don't say this out of any kind of hubris. It's like, no, I know I'm a good modeler. I'm a very good modeler. But I've also seen stuff that it's like, I'm not with it. I just wasn't sure if you had specific topics as well. Well, again, we could certainly, yeah, the answer is possibly. I'd rather not go into it now because, as we know, Ken, it's like I'm trying to dissociate a lot of the heavier political stuff from the morning stuff, because I think what it does is I think it creates not necessarily divisiveness. I'm not looking to start the day on a sour note. At the end of the day, I don't give a shit. Start of the day, not so much. I have to change my school because I didn't like how competitive other students are because we need to work in teams and workplaces. Yes, you know what, Light? 100% right. There has to be a balance between individual competitiveness and working as a team. And unfortunately, quite often, it is the individual competitiveness that comes through. And as good as that is for a person, like how to better oneself, at some point, you cannot do certain things if you don't work with a team, because there are certain things you will not be able to do. So yes, team building and working in a team, absolutely critical. Yeah, Ken, and please understand, I'm not brushing off the answer. It's just if you want, I will definitely go offline with you and we can talk about it. And in fact, there's a lot of conversations that that have been brought up because of some individual things that I've heard from friends, either via text or even in person. So, again, I'm bringing up the show from last night. Mike, somebody asked on Mike's live stream last night about, is in judging in competitions, does anybody look under the model? In theory, in IPMS, the answer is no. So even though I'm trying to get rid of that seam line, theoretically, if that model's sitting like that, you don't pick it up. Nick, you pre-gaming to 7 p.m.? I think that's a good time. Nick usually is like, I'm only half listening to this, probably because of what George is saying. How did you learn to make models? How did I learn? Oh boy, you just do, like. I mean, honestly, that's a terrible answer, but your answer is totally valid. Ken, what do you mean by pre-gaming? Yeah. I think like anything, you just start. I started by seeing a model on a shelf when I was a kid, asking my dad, hey, can I buy that? He said, yes. I built it. I'm like, that was fun. Let's do it again. But in terms of how you get good, or how do you become, you get to whatever, it's doing what I'm doing right now. You just work on a model, and and with talking with other people, you will learn how to become very good at something. What was it that Malcolm Gladwell said in Outliers, it's like there's like an unknown rule of something like you have to do something for 10,000 hours in order to become an expert at something. I'm probably at that now. What day is it? It is sleepy day. Good night, Ray. Daniel's partner in your garage. Like, come on. Those you bleed for. Oh, I'm not going to disagree. Drinking! Exactly. Nope, I'm on baby detox. On body detox. I'm on baby detox for a second. Freebasing, speed, and cocaine, unless your budget is tight, then that's oxy. 5-hour energy. Jesus, Ray. Can't breathe game if you're already doing it. Exactly. Body detox? I thought we were friends. So, anyway, Len, I'm not sure if that kind of makes sense, but that's kind of the way it is. You know, my wife had a student years ago when she was a teacher, who very early on somebody saw in them that they were a really good piano player, like the way they played, and she sponsored him. She became like his sponsor to send him to classes, to work, to go to competitions. He went to a really good private school, which is where my wife was teaching at the time. And this guy is, I mean, he's got to be in his late 20s, maybe early 30s now. He is now a world-class pianist. And we had the pleasure of listening to him 4 or 5 years ago when he was in town. He comes into town every few years. And he played for the community that he grew up in. And I got to tell you, it is fascinating. And he's a wonderful, wonderful pianist. But, you know, he got there because of some innate talent, but also a ton of practicing. Every time. I remember walking into school, and whenever we saw him, he was always at a piano. How's his love? Remember, they don't pee test for mushrooms. Nice. Sorry, Ken, you're on your own tonight. I applied for a new job, and they have higher standards. Hold it. What's this now? I applied for a new job, and they have higher standards. Hold it a second. Okay, I'm starting to understand this question. Nick, for real? New job? And this stays here, except when this whole YouTube thing goes public, then it doesn't stay here. And I truly hope the answer to what you're going to say is yes. Yes, hopefully. Awesome. Hey, Nick, I'm praying really hard for you. I hope everything pans out for you, brother. I really do. You know, this is I guess this is the modern paradigm, right? And I'm totally in favor of it. If something doesn't work for you, find something else. And I appreciate that a younger group of people are probably better at doing that than us older bastards. And you know what? Find something else. Once again, it comes back to are the people that you are working with, well, it's not the job. I'm assuming, and I'm assuming, Nick, maybe call me wrong here, unless you're deciding to go into a different trade. Is it that you want to change jobs because of better work environment, or is it because of you're trying to do something different? Hey, Seb. Thanks, you, of course, brother. Dude, absolutely. I'm serious. I'm rooting for you. Doing very well, Seb. I'm doing very well. How are you? Another late night, I assume? I got to tell you, Seb, I know you've become a regular since I've come over to YouTube in particular. And when you're not here, and I know you have late night work and you're waking up late, and you should do what you got to do. I got to tell you, when I don't see Seb every now and then, it's like, ooh, hopefully, I hope Seb's doing okay. Some younger people find new places and people to work because they can't change management practices that humiliate people. Yeah, exactly. People don't leave jobs because the work is not something they want to do. It's because of how they are treated and the respect they get within their work. And respect doesn't have to be how they're treated by a boss. It could be how they're treated by a colleague, how they're being treated financially, or if they request something, whatever it is. It's for the pay and benefits. It's also union. Yeah, brother. Yeah, now you're seeing the light. I may need a new job. My program maybe. Are you sure? Is this okay, Ken? Question: is this because of everything that's going on in this fucked up country we're living in right now? I'm fine. Nope, I'm on break. Next shift is Sunday. Oh, okay, you're on break. Good for you. Well, get your rest up. I'm sure that you work pretty hard for it, and you need to get some sleep after a late work shift. You can't talk about that till 7. I will, but I can talk about it. I mean, by the way, I put those guidelines in place. I can just as easily remove them. I'm just saying I put them in place. Exactly. No, not politically motivated. Oh, interesting. All right, Ken, you and I are going to have to catch up sometime soon. It's been too long. It's been too long, brother. More liability issue. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, Ken, we should catch up at some point. Ken's a liability to his company. It looks like. That's a joke. That's a joke. Bye. That's a joke. Years ago, we're talking about, how you get good at something. Opinions under violence, destructive. Oh boy. Liability on you. Jesus. Ken, I'm real. Oh man, that's just awful. Don't worry, it's not that physically exhausting. It's more mentally. Mental exhaustion is just as bad as physical exhaustion. I would rather actually be physically tired than mentally tired. I feel at least a lot more alert. I love my job, but I'm growing a business for other people to retire wealthy. Wow. Hold it. I want to take a snapshot of that. I create upwards of 50K profits a week and don't see the benefits to it on my end. Wow. Wow. Nick, there is hope for you yet. They told me American culture makes pie dessert, but I didn't hear of any chain companies except for fast food like burgers. We do make a bunch of pie desserts. Are they being sold in like a mass market way? That I don't know. Americans make great pie though. Cherry pie, apple pie. My wife makes an apple pie. It's one of the reasons why I married her. Her eyes and her pie. Guys, and don't take that the wrong way. I will smack you silly. You become a liability in a company when you find out all the dark little secrets. Yeah, Nick, you a carpenter. Nice. So, there we go. Rounding this a bit. Let's get underneath here. water treatment specialist. Yeah. And I'm assuming, Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, that is basically a very specialized field within like plumbing or something, or am I wrong about that? How do you become a water treatment specialist? Yeah, that's a good question. I'm assuming as a specialist, yeah, you go down one career path. Look at this, like mine's light. Okay. Right, that's have to round this a little bit. It's been just a little squared off. Go a little better. Nick, I think Flint, Michigan could use your help. Nick used to live in the north. Okay, could you go out on your own, like start your own company? That's a good question. COVID happened. That's how. Yeah, make some business cards. Yeah, Ken, don't work for George. He'll make you do all the installs. Fuck yeah. I thought about it for a while. It's like go out on my own and do my own integration company. It's like I just the thing is, it's like I don't want to do that. You know, I and especially at this age. And by the way, I could because there's enough business out there to be able to do that. But I just don't want to run a business because then why would I want to do that? I'd rather come home and not worry about fucking business. I'd rather come home and talk with you guys and work on models and hang out with my family. I don't want to start a business. COVID happened, but how did you get into it before COVID? I'm assuming, Nick, that you didn't just kind of like, oh, there's this job and they're willing to train and everything. Maybe I'm wrong. How'd you get into that? George keeps talking about how the deck needs work. Free advertising for deck work. Thank you. My house needs a lot of work all around. The deck would certainly be a good place to start. Ken, I could. I'm licensed, but it's not what I want to do. Ah, got it. Nice. Owning company is a headache, though, as well. Yeah. Again, there are benefits and there are rewards and there are detractors to it, right? You know, in very well-run businesses, especially as you're starting them, you're putting a lot of effort into it. And, there's some successes that come from that. And there's sometimes they're not, but there's a lot of effort you put in to make your company a great company, right? Or you could be like the owner of my company, who's a fucking moron and basically has surrounded himself with good people who he burns out as long as he can do well, because he's basically he ostriches himself whenever problems come up and expects other people to wipe his ass for him. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Did I get a little loud on that? By the way, as I said before, I will say this to his face because that's what I think of him as a business owner. Great. We're going to start getting deck pics. That's right. You're going to get those deck pics. You're going to like them, Ray. I was in oil and gas compression for 18 years before COVID. Jesus, man. Dude, so, Nick, if I do the math, because I think I know how old you are, did you do that right after high school? 18 years. Yeah. And that would make sense, given where you live, that you probably got into the, into the oil business, right? All right, got 5 minutes and then we're going to bail. Nice thing about my daughter now being done with school, I don't have to leave early to go see her off. There's also teaching what you know instead of buying, investing property and product. It's investing for society. 100%. Yeah, yeah. Boy, Light, you sound like a very young person, but a very wise young person. I started 17. No shit. Wow, yeah. So that was right like high school. Yeah. My my wife's uncle, Uncle Bob, great man. Loved him. Just a sweet, kind man. At least in my experience with him, always a very kind man. He worked in the refinery business. Actually, most of her relatives who were worked in some point in the refinery business. Getting wiser every day, hopefully. Sounds like you are, Ray. Talk about sanding. Oh. I would like to get this part done before I take off. It's not going to happen. There's just too many, too many, too many seams with just a few too many rough spots along the way. But it's okay. All right, that's looking good. That's looking okay. I like to get at least some of the facades kind of done and not have to return to them. So, Light, are you a modeler as well? Do you work on scale models, or do you have a related hobby, whether it's in some other kind of uh, uh, craft thing or art or something like that? I've got a 10-inch power sander for walls. It works pretty good for floors too. Today we got a 1-to-1 deck project. Yeah, exactly, boy. Part of my deck, I'm really debating just ripping up half of it and not replacing it and putting in a garden. If you trim the bushes around your deck, it will look bigger. Do I want it to look bigger? I'd rather it be bigger than look bigger. Just saying. Just me. Ray. Ray. You're gonna circumcise your deck? Just a dip. Ray. Fuck me, Ray. Yeehaw. Almost there. Not bad. I draw and make holiday cards to hand out at events. Oh, that's nice. Love it. Artistic endeavors. Love it. That's the thing. It's like whatever, this is why it's like work should always be there so that we can enjoy the things in life. Work should not become our life. I work so I can afford to do this hobby and do the fun stuff with my family. And that's why I'm starting to get more into that phase of, when I clock out, I clock out. Now, will I work later or start earlier or whatever if necessary? Absolutely. But whereas I used to do that more regularly, now I set boundaries a lot more because you know what? I need to do shit for me. Kind of like what Nick was saying earlier. Look, I have no problem making money for a company, but I'm not going to do it at the expense of all of my time. So it makes them a lot more money. They get the majority of it. I get it. I get, don't get me wrong, I get capitalism. I don't always agree with capitalism, but I get capitalism. In all seriousness, when are you ready to tear into it? Let me know. I might. George is all out of bubblegum. That's right. All right, I'm going to stop now because I got to get going and get ready for work. Of course, I look at something, it's like, oh, but I can do this. No, I got to stop. We'll work on that again tomorrow, my friends. All right, so fun morning conversation. I appreciate it again, guys. Again, as I said earlier, I really, every time I start thinking, it's like, just sleep in. It's like, then I get done with a session. I'm like, man, I really enjoyed talking with everybody today. Later, Nick. Have a good one, brother. Capitalism should be just freedom for businesses, but it turns to greed and abuse of power too. Light, truer words have not been spoken. Later, Joe. Have a good day and breakfast if you did. Thank you, Light. I'm going to go do that shortly. My friends, stay safe and stay sane. Go out there and do good. This world, it's not getting crazier. It's fucked. We are in a dangerous place, and it is getting bad, bad, bad. Okay? So it's up to us to try to help move the needle back into better territory. Be kind to people. Show goodness to people. Show respect for people. Do good for people. Don't harm them. Okay? With that, I'll be back on again tomorrow morning, same time, same channel. Tonight, I'm on at 7 p.m. Eastern time to do the unloading. Get that off my chest for a week. Anyway, do good, everybody. Enjoy the day. Love you all. And I will see you on the flip. Peace.